This is the Louie T Network.
And then my team was 6-10, and we ain't smell the playoffs. Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to continued coverage of the 2018 NFL playoffs here on the Louie T Network. Of course, I'm your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. AFC Championship game in the books. Patriots, Jags, Patriots with the 24-20 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars in a hell of a football game, sending the Patriots to yet another Super Bowl. I've lost count as to how many that is for the Patriots in the last decade. It's got to be 6 or 7 of the last 10 Super Bowls that this Patriots team has represented the AFC. And I think a lot of us saw this coming and playing out similar to the way that it did out on the football field. I couldn't have accounted for the Gronk injury, but we knew the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to come up and give the Patriots a challenge defensively. But in the end, we said this time and time again, we just don't think the Jags have enough offense. At least that's what I said in my predictions and preview video for this game, is that I simply didn't think the Jags had enough on the offensive side of the football. I told you I thought the score would be 19-17 Patriots heading into the fourth, and then the Patriots would score 10 unanswered in the fourth to run away with the football game. Not quite how it played out. Jags did have 17 heading into the fourth quarter, but they were ahead 17-10 nonetheless. The fourth quarter is essentially where I said this game would be won, and the championship pedigree that the Patriots had, this distinct advantage that I gave them in winning time in the fourth quarter of a playoff game, was going to be the deciding factor and the difference in the outcome of this football game. That's what I thought going into the game. That's what played out as the Patriots were able to score 14 huge points in the final frame to upend the Jacksonville Jaguars 24-20, heading to yet another Super Bowl. This is unprecedented what we've seen this Patriots team do. I know a lot of you out there don't want to hear this because you hate the Patriots. And again, get in line. There are too many Patriot haters out there to sit here and act as if we don't acknowledge that there's Patriot hate. They're the bad guys in the National Football League. And I told you last year when they won the Super Bowl, I said, take a look at this bad guy. Or as a wise man once said, say good night to the bad guy, because you'll never see another bad guy quite like this again. And look, you need villains in order to make sports fun. There's a villain or two in every single league, and in the NFL, the Patriots are the villain, and they're a damn good one, and they continue to get it done as they did in this football game. And just let's start the show off right, though. I got the W, so Joe, will you please? All right, so I want to jump into this breakdown, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond, 2018, excuse me, and beyond. We're changing the game. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I got to do this quickly because NFC Championship game about 20 minutes out from now, so I want to put us in a position to be able to enjoy that together, so I'll make this as quick as possible. From the Jaguar, or from the Patriots side of things, they were the winners. To the victors go the spoils. They were able to get this victory, and first and foremost, you gotta, let's start with the offense, because offensively, they are what makes this team go. And I know we give the defense a lot of flack in New England, and I told you that I didn't think they were going to be able to put it together this year. Well, they were able to. Egg on my face once again, especially when talking about this Patriots team. I should have known better, but nonetheless, offensively is what this team is about. In New England, when you're talking about this dynasty that has been put forth, one of the greatest runs we've ever seen in modern NFL history, put forth by Belichick, Brady, and company. When you're talking about the B&B winning factory, you're talking about this offensive machine that has been put together, that is headed by Tom Brady, and they did it again in the most crucial situations in this game where they had to have it. Down 10 in the fourth quarter. You have the huge turnover, big play by Miles Jack to take it away from Dion Lewis. You're thinking at that point, maybe the Patriots really are in trouble in this game. The defense gets a stop, but the Patriots, more importantly, offensively made play after play after play after play in this game to make the winning plays and make the difference in the outcome. And it's all Tom Brady. Let's be honest with ourselves. Yeah, Edelman stepped up, or excuse me, Amendola turned into Edelman and has been Edelman essentially in this postseason. When you look at the 11 catches or so he had against the Titans to help them win that game, and you look at the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, including the game winner. You look at all of the surrounding parts. It's great to have Amendola, Hogan, Cooks, who went for $1 in this game. That's all great, but you lose your big threat at tight end and Gronk, and you have little to no run game in this game. It's all on the shoulders of TB12, and as I call him, Tom TBE, and he proved why he's Tom TBE yet again with those two massive fourth quarter drives. The first of which to close the gap from 20-10 to 20-17. Big completion after big completion. Had some huge pass interference. There are a couple of plays where Brady just threw it up for grabs and was bailed out by poor Jags defense. We'll talk about that a little bit later on when we get to the Jags. But give Brady credit. He took some shots. All right, he took a hellacious shot from Miles Jack on a blitz, on a green dog late in the game, right up under the shoulder blade, up under the pad. That was a gruesome shot. He took some hits in this game, and he got up and he continued to make the throws. I thought the Jags would hit him more. They didn't hit him as much as I thought they would in this game. They didn't rattle his cage enough. And credit Tom Brady and credit that offensive line too. I mean, when it's not good, we beat him up. Brady didn't get hit a ton tonight, and he may have been sacked maybe 3 times. I'll say 3 times in this game. But really, Brady had time in this game. And when he had time, he made the Jaguars pay, and he made some dime throws. I'm talking about dropping in the bucket type throws, even the ones that weren't caught. Some of these throws, I mean, damn, at 40, Tom Brady is still Tom TBE. And for anybody questioning whether the Patriots made the right decision as to whether to trade Jimmy G, who wasn't coming back, okay, Jimmy G didn't sign a long-term deal. Their hands were tied. It was either Tom or Jimmy G. I mean, how could you argue the decision to move on from Jimmy G? I mean, look, you got to win while you have an opportunity to win. And with Tom Brady at the helm playing at an MVP-like level, you got a chance to win each and every single year. And you just got to ride this thing out until it's done. And Brady was magnificent again. I thought the turning point offensively for this team, though, was late in the first half where they were able to get the 2 big penalties. One on the helmet-to-helmet, which was a great call on Gronk. I thought it was a poor throw and decision by Brady, though. Throw was there. Not a poor throw, but a poor choice more so than anything else. Don't put your best weapon in harm's way like that. He set Gronk up to take that hellacious shot, and it ultimately ended Gronk's day. And luckily enough for the Patriots, they've got 2 weeks between now and the Super Bowl. He'll be ready to go by then, most likely. He'll be cleared out of the concussion protocol by then. So I expect him to be back for Super Bowl 52. But nonetheless, that was a bad decision by Brady, but it got him a 15-yard penalty. Was it worth it? They ended up winning the game, so I guess it was worth it at the time. But again, or in the long run. But again, that and the big pass interference penalty down the field on A.J. Boye, he's got to look for the football there. That ball wasn't going to be caught. I didn't love the flag there, but I understand it. I didn't have a problem with it. I don't love it because they allowed these guys to play all postseason long, and I thought they allowed them to play in this game for the most part. Didn't love that flag, but I thought it was pass interference because he simply didn't look. He armbarred the receiver out of bounds, and so that was a huge play because a couple plays later, boom, they're in the end zone, and instead of you going up potentially 17-3 on the penalty on delay of game on your side of things, now it's 14-10 heading into the halftime break in a half that the Jaguars, to me, dominated. You're only up 4. Similar to the Falcons and Eagles game we saw last week where the Falcons pretty much dominated the first half, and yet because of a dropped interception, they're up 10-9 instead of 13-6, possibly 17-6 at the half. So I thought Brady did a great job of just giving guys opportunities, throwing the football up. I don't love their offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. I don't love him because it's easy when you have Tom Brady at quarterback to do the things that he's doing. Like, I had a conversation with someone on Twitter about Nathaniel Hackett and what he's doing with the Jaguars offense, and he said, one of the person I was speaking with said, hey, I need to see him with a good quarterback. And I'm like, well, if he can do this with Blake Bortles, I'd imagine he'd be able to take a good quarterback and have some success with him as well. I think it's the opposite. I'm more skeptical of Josh McDaniels because he's got Tom Brady versus me seeing McDaniels do this, because all we know is Josh McDaniels with Tom Brady. Okay, he went to Denver, he failed, and came back to New England. So, and all of the reasons why he failed in Denver wasn't all his fault. Remember, they got off to like a 4-5-0 start in Denver before things imploded there. But nonetheless, I've only known him, you've only known him with Tom Brady as Tom Brady's offensive coordinator. What is he going to do when he's coaching a guy like Blake Bortles? Can he survive in a situation like that? That's the question I have. And I thought he did a great job, though. I have to give him credit. I'm not a huge Josh McDaniels fan, but I thought he was magnificent. The throwback pass, the double pass essentially to Dion Lewis, that was a thing of beauty, and it would have worked had Lewis utilized his blockers a little bit better. He slow played it a little bit too much because he had blockers out in front. That was a convoy. He should have scored on that play. But in any event, that was a ballsy call. It was an excellent call. Reminded me of the double pass versus the Ravens about 3 or 4 years ago in the postseason to help them win that game. That was a beautifully executed play there as well. That one was too. And then to come with the flea flicker, I just thought he was pulling all the tricks out of his hat in this football game against an aggressive defense that you needed to do that against. I have to give Josh McDaniels some credit. Without your two best receivers, and again, I hate to bring up Amendola because he didn't play, or excuse me, Edelman because he didn't play all season, but these are the types of games you need a guy like Julian Edelman in. To not have Gronk for the entire second half, huge game, huge circumstances, and they were able to do just fine. Brady played his best quarter of football in the fourth. Again, winning time when the best play their best. That's the definition of being the greatest of all time. Brady did what we expected him to do in the most crucial situation of the game. It's what we've come to expect from the B&B winning factory. Don't just sweep it under the rug as the Patriots being great. Acknowledge their greatness. God damn it, these boys just win. They just simply win. Defensively, I didn't think they were all that great in this game. Got to give them credit, though. When the Jaguars went a little conservative and were backed up, really the entire second half after the first field goal to start the fourth quarter, the Jags pretty much went conservative on the offensive side of the football. They were backed up a ton. And credit that Patriots defense. They only gave up one big play, the catch to Hearns, which got them out of trouble one time. Other than that, they pretty much got off the field in third down situations after being horrible in the first half on third downs, allowing the Jaguars to carve them up. Blake Bortles was outstanding. At one point, he was 17 of 21 for 221 yards passing in this game. He was carving up this Patriots defense with short underneath throws, and then when he had to push it down the field, he was able to do so as well. But credit them for ratcheting it up a little bit, tightening up the screws, if you will, in the second half, especially late third into the fourth quarter, where they were able to stop the run. And really, Belichick said, all right, this is where I'm going to make Blake Bortles beat me. I'm going to stop the run on first or second down because I know they don't really want, deep in their own territory, to ask Blake Bortles to do anything special. So I'm going to take away the run game, and I'm going to force him in some third and long situations to beat us. He wasn't able to do that, and you got to give credit to that defense. You had Rowe making a big play on the sidelines on a big breakup on the second down to force the third and long situation. You had Stephon Gilmore making big play after big play down the field. Guys stepped up. Chung with a big play on the fourth down, even though I don't think Mercedes Lewis was going to get the first down, even if he had caught it. Doesn't matter. Patrick Chung was right there. Guys were where they were supposed to be. Kyle Van Noy, I thought, made some big plays, especially early in the ball game. Give this Patriots front some credit. They did get a little bit of pressure on Bortles, whether you're talking Ricky Jean Francois. I thought Trey Flowers was outstanding. By far and away the Patriots' best pass rusher. He was a nuisance in this game. Even when they tried a flea flicker, he flushed Blake Bortles out of the pocket, made him throw it on the run. They did complete it to Hearns for a nice chunk of yardage, but still, Trey Flowers was all over the football field. James Harrison with a big sack late in the game. So give the Patriots front some credit. I don't love those guys. I don't love what they put on the football field as a defensive unit up front in the front seven, but they got it done in this game when it was necessary to preserve that 24-20 win and move on to Super Bowl 52. You go to the Jacksonville Jaguars side of things. Let's talk about the defense, because I thought the defense did everything that they could do up until the fourth quarter, where they just started leaking oil. you look at the plays, though, that were made. I thought the first half, I thought that they were outstanding. Okay, the Patriots move it right down the field on the opening possession. But what do? Force them to settle for 3. And then from that point on, they dominated the first half. The Patriots at one point in this game, as we got midway through the third, they were 1 of 8 on third downs in this game, which is going to win you the football game if you were to continue on that path. Problem was Brady started to heat up the offense. And I thought this is where the game was pretty much lost for the Jaguars. The offense stopped moving the football, and they started relying on this defense to try to win them the game. And I thought the defense ran out of gas. You saw guys getting injured late in this game. You saw guys with their hands on their hips. You saw guys being a little less aggressive because they were on their heels and they were tired at the end of the game. And you have to give credit to the Patriots, both offensively and defensively, for pushing the pedal to the metal, defensively getting off the field in some 3-and-out situations with short fields to ensure, or with the Jags pinned deep in their own territory, to ensure that they didn't move the football 1 and 2, give that Jags defense any rest. And I thought that the Jaguars defensively in the first half did some really good things on third downs, getting off the football field. I thought even into the third quarter, they were still doing a great job. It's not always about sacks. I thought they got some solid pressure on Brady in the first half. I didn't think there was much of any pressure on Brady in the second half. You had, I think, 1 sack and a jack hit on Brady for the most part. Now, there were some other times where he was looking to take shots deep, and he got hit as he was throwing the football. But I'm talking about pressure like the first sack of the game from Dante Fowler Jr., where Brady didn't stand a chance. I mean, the right tackle lost immediately, and Brady had to hit the deck. So I was looking for more of that kind of pressure. Calais Campbell winning, Malik Jackson winning. I was looking for Ngakoue, who really was non-existent in this game. I was looking for those guys to win. The only guy that was winning on a consistent basis in this game for me was Dante Fowler Jr. But nonetheless, Miles Jack with a huge play to strip the football of Deion Lewis in the third, or I think that was early stages of the fourth. Patriots were on the move. Huge play. At that point, I'm thinking maybe the Jags actually have a shot to win this game. Problem was the offense just simply could not sustain itself, kept putting this defense on the field in some short field situations. Tough to ask this defense to continue to respond over and over again. But if you're the #1 defense and you claim that this is where you want to be, you got to find a way to get a stop. And unfortunately, normally in these types of games, in these types of situations, we see the defense that claims that they're the best come out and prove that they're the best in these situations. Unfortunately, you're talking about a young defense that hasn't been here before against a veteran team and the best ever who do this every single year. It was a tough ask of a young team to know how to handle the fourth quarter in such a pressure-packed and filled environment and game. And unfortunately for the Jaguars, they folded under the pressure. They wilted in the most critical situations. Ton of penalties. 6 for 98 for the Jaguars in this game. Too many chunk plays given up by penalties, and they were all good calls. You could hardly argue any of them. Guys weren't looking. The Ramsey one, if he didn't hog tie him, because he actually overran the football. If he didn't hog tie him, it wouldn't have been a penalty. But again, too many mistakes by the Jags on defense. A lot of penalty yardage, a lot of momentum swung on the heels of these penalties. Got to be better defensively. You were able to force a turnover, but nothing was gained from that turnover other than a loss of possession by the Patriots, who were driving for points. But I thought the defense gave the offense a chance to hold this Patriots offense through 3 quarters to 10 points. I mean, I don't know what else you want this Jaguars defense to do other than put this game away in the fourth quarter. And again, some of that onus has to go on the offense for not sustaining itself and giving this defense a chance to breathe in the fourth quarter, where the Patriots seem to have the football. I'd love to know time of possession in the fourth quarter, because of the 15 minutes in the fourth quarter, I could all but guarantee that the Patriots are in double digits in terms of time of possession in that quarter. I'd like to think that they had the football for at least 10, maybe even 11 minutes of the fourth quarter. In the deciding quarter of the game, I thought the Patriots dominated not only time of possession, but field position as well, which was huge in the outcome of this game. You go to the offense. I thought Blake Bortles was outstanding in the first half of this game, and really for 3 quarters. Thought he managed the game well. I thought Nathaniel Hackett, you got to give this guy credit for what he was able to do in this game. I thought he was magnificent. and calling the game. I love the RPOs. I love the shotgun handoffs. I love the play action fake because the Patriots were gearing up on first and second downs. They were gearing up to stop the run. So you run it on first down, and then boom, you go play action fake and get some chunk plays. And I thought they ran the play action fake to the best of their abilities and got a lot of chunk yardage out of it. You had to know the crossers were coming. That's what they've done. That's been a staple concept for them all season long in third. And that's why they want to get into third and manageables, because those crossing routes are easy man beaters, and they allow you to pick up short pieces of yards to move the sticks. They did a great job of getting Blake Bortles out of the pocket on some rollouts. Big play by Trey Flowers on a knockdown of a Bortles throw. But to me, in the first half, you had a chance to really put the pressure on the Patriots in this game by getting that first down right before the 2-minute warning on the catch that Blake Bortles made a great throw on the sidelines. I want to say to Allen Hurns, but delay a game penalty. You just got to know better as a quarterback. And hell, even in that situation, if you don't think you're going to get it off as a coach, I need you to ice one there to preserve that third, and I think it was 8. Instead, it turned into a 3rd and 13. They don't convert. Patriots get the football back, and then you get the 2 big penalties. The first, the Gronk helmet-to-helmet contact on Barry Church. So boom, that's a 15-yarder. Probably well worth it because Gronk wasn't in the game anymore after that. And again, that's Brady's fault for putting him in harm's way with that throw. But nonetheless, afterwards, you get the big penalty down the field on A.J. Boye on Brandon Cooks to set up the first touchdown of the game for the Patriots. And voila, instead of potentially 17-3, because after that completion on the no play on the delay of game, you would have been in field goal range with the way that your kicker, Josh Lambo, was kicking the football. In hell, if you're the Chargers, damn, you got to be kicking yourself because Lambo kicked the football well, especially in this postseason for the Jaguars. You had him kicking for you all year long. You're probably in the postseason. Doesn't matter. That's a moot point in any event. You take away an opportunity for another field goal to go up 17-3, potentially a touchdown with the way you were moving the football in the first half to go up 21-3 potentially. In any event, what a swing in momentum and a swing in the football game to me. A big penalty on the Jags, then two more on the offensive side after the big defensive delay, offensive delay of game. 2 big defensive penalties, setting the Patriots up for a scoring opportunity that they would cash in for 7 and really change the complexity of a game that was dominated by the Jags in the first half. You're only up 14-10 at the halftime break. And I really didn't – I understand. Scared money don't make money. You know my philosophy, especially in the playoffs. I understand it's Blake Bortles. You don't want to give the Patriots the football again. But they had damn near a minute after the Patriots scored a touchdown, and they just took knees and went to halftime. I thought that was a little bit too conservative for my liking. Be aggressive. Again, I understand that if you throw it 3 times, you incomplete 2 of them, the Patriots are going to get the football back. They've got a timeout left, and you don't want to give up another field goal or whatever. I understand that, but scared money don't make money. I'd have loved to have seen them at least try a screen on first down. If you don't like what you see there, let's say you only get 2 on the screen. Okay, go to halftime. All right, try something. Don't just take a knee and say, all right, to hell with it. Let's go to halftime. We're up 4. We feel good about that. Try something. Okay, something safe, something that's going to keep the clock running so that if it doesn't work, you can still go to the halftime. Patriots only had 1 timeout. It's not like they could have stopped the clock a ton of times. So you could have tried something on first down. You don't like the results of it. Then you could have taken your knee or run the football or whatever, and then you could have taken your ass to halftime. But again, hindsight is 20/20. I thought they did a great job in the first half offensively. The problem was the second half. They had a 10-point lead going in to the early stages of the fourth quarter after the field goal to start the fourth quarter at 20-10. And I thought they just got conservative. Again, they didn't have great field position after that field goal. Their field position after that was terrible. Great job by the Patriots special teams of pinning them, but still, you had to be a little bit more aggressive than what you were. There were times where you go run, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. Or you'd go run, pass, sack. Now it's 3rd and long. I just thought that they got extremely conservative. They didn't want Blake to turn it over or have a mistake. And I thought keep doing that over and over again. Keep putting your defense in a position. And then finally, you had a bad punt. Edelman returns it to the 30. Or Amendola returns it to the 30-yard line. And all of a sudden, Patriots are in business with a chance to take the lead in the game. And so you had to know at some point the defense bailed you out with the turnover. And at some point, you needed to help the defense out. sort of like what you did in the first half, and it never came in the fourth quarter. They did not step up. Blake Bortles didn't make any plays. I wanted to see him use his legs more. I thought he did a great job of extending plays. Give this Jaguars offensive line some credit for protecting Bortles. I thought there were so many times, whether it was Yeldon or Bohannon or whomever out of the backfield, catching plays after they delayed after blocking, similar to the Mercedes Lewis touchdown, where they delay. Oh, okay, Bortles still has the football. He's still in the pocket. Let me release, get into the pass route, and Bortles finds them late, and they get huge chunks of yardage doing that. I thought Corey Grant was also outstanding catching the football. Some well-designed plays by Nathaniel Hackett. It wasn't enough in the second half, though, especially the fourth quarter. I thought the Jaguars got extremely conservative, and instead of playing to win, they played not to lose with a 10-point lead, and the Patriots were playing to win all the way. They ultimately came back 14 unanswered to win this game 24-20. Let's get to any comments that may be out there, as I know this game has already started, NFC Championship game underway, so I don't want to keep you guys here much longer than I already have. So I'll get to any comments that are out there and see what you guys have to say. And I hope Miles Jack is okay. You saw him crying at the end of the game. Tears of frustration. Obviously, I don't know if the tears were more because of the loss or more because of the injury, but he had to be carted off to the locker room. So I feel for that young man, because he had himself a whale of a ball game before the injury. Buffalo pregame says, you're right, the Jags should have been more aggressive offensively at the end. Field position sucked for them. It did. And I think that kind of made a decision for Nathaniel Hackett to be a little bit more conservative, because he saw how the game was going and where they were, and he just didn't want an epic mistake made by Blake Bortles. The ball tips, because he was behind receivers all game long. He was behind guys, and sometimes they had enough separation to catch it and still be able to pick up yardage after the fact. But there were some throws that were behind, and one of those tips off a receiver deep in your own territory, up in the air, pick off, and all of a sudden the tide turns, and you can tell they were very, very conservative late. Your boss says, Jags deserve this L. Why would you go for it 4th and 14 with 3 timeouts in the best defense in the league? Great point, your boss. And that's something I wanted to talk about as well. I thought the move there was to punt it. If you would have gotten 10, maybe 9 in that situation, maybe you think about kicking a field goal with the way Lambeau was kicking it. But to me, you needed to get 10 or more to think about a field goal or even going for it in that situation. After picking up 5 or 6 and being left with like a 4th and 13, 4th and 14, to me, there was no decision. 3 timeouts, you pin them deep. Okay, you have your punter, Nortman, punt that football somewhere inside the 10-yard line. The Patriots are going to, on the first down, run it. Now, with Brady, they're probably throwing it on 2nd and 3rd. Who gives a shit? Okay, at this point, your defense is going to either win or lose you this game and give you a shot. But you need to get a stop. There's no way you're converting 4th and 14. You're just not going to do it. I agree. The move there was to punt. Pin them deep, put your defense on the field, and see if you can't get a stop. Get the football back somewhere around midfield, maybe even better. Maybe their punter does the same thing that your punter did and kick one a little short. You get great field position in Patriots territory, and you see if Blake Bortles can't be a maestro and lead you to a victory with about 58 seconds left and no timeouts, or a minute and 41 seconds left and no timeouts. With the Patriots throwing it, maybe you get an incomplete pass and you got a timeout and it's a minute and 37 seconds left. Anyway, I thought it was a poor decision there. They rolled the dice. It didn't come out favorable for them, but it didn't matter. They still didn't get the stop anyway, so it was a moot point. But I agree with you, your boss. That was not a great decision there by their head coach in that situation, and I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him, but I think you should have definitely punted the football there. Corey Fitterman says, man, the offensive coordinator went with some safe play callings after they got that stop. He should have went and got a little bit more aggressive. I felt the same way. They got, to me, I wanted to see more pressure on Brady first and foremost. If you're as confident in your defenders with no Gronk on the field, I'm more confident in my ability to lock down these other receivers. I love Colvin in the slot. I'm going man-to-man, and I might blitz. I might bring 6. I might bring some extra pressures and see if I can't get Brady to be sloppy with the ball or to be a little antsy. Maybe I get some pressure, unblocked defender, Brady gets hit, ball comes out. You just don't know what could happen, but I thought they were both conservative on offense and defense, because you saw when they blitzed Miles Jack on the delay, blitz on the green dog, he came scot-free and roughed Brady up and also got an incompletion. I didn't think there was enough of that. And really the Jaguars, they thought they could rush 4 and get home, and they didn't do that very effectively in this game. But nonetheless, too conservative to me offensively for sure, and you could argue defensively as well late in this game. Clean Senpai says, hated seeing the Jags lose that game. They're like the AFC Panthers. MCGB says, you're right about those refs. Mazer_12 says, 8 Super Bowl for the Pats in the last decade. I don't know if that's a fact. Let's just run with that and say that that's the case. Over the last decade, they've been to 7 straight AFC Championship games, so I don't doubt that. Okay, the fact that if we're talking 8 Super Bowls for this group in the last, let's see if we can't quickly do some math here. You've got the Giants in 2011. You've got the 2012 Super Bowl. Were they in that? No, they weren't in that one. 2013, they weren't in that one either. 2014, they weren't in that one. So they were in the Seattle one, the Atlanta one, and now this one. So they've been in the last 3 Super Bowls, and they were in the last time they were in the Super Bowl was 2011. So that's 4 Super Bowls in the last 7 years. And if you go back to 2008, I'm pretty sure they were in one more in there somewhere. If I had to guess, maybe not. In any event, what they've done is ridiculous. It's unprecedented. We'll never see this again. It's what the Patriots do, and it's greatness on a whole nother level. And it's something that you have to acknowledge, accept, and in some degree, you have to just pay your respects to what we're seeing. Look, it isn't always clean. Sometimes they get an unfair advantage. You say what you want about the Patriots, they win. They find a way to win. Marvelous Track says it's Ramsey's fault due to the pass interference late in the 4th, which gave the Pats another chance to score. No, I don't blame him for this loss, if that's what you're saying. No way do you blame one man for this loss. It's a total collective effort on the part of the Jags to salt away that 10-point lead in the 4th quarter. The offense didn't sustain itself. They went conservative. They had poor field position. They didn't improve the field position by getting first downs and moving the sticks. I thought they did a great job in the first half, and I tweeted this, and I was on a tweeting rampage in the first half. I tweeted this in my quick slants about how I felt the Jaguars did a tremendous job of shortening the game by picking up first downs and moving the football and keeping the ball away from Brady in that offense. They didn't do that in the second half of this game, especially in the 4th quarter when they really needed to give their defense a little bit of a blow. They never did that, and I thought it was a trickle-down effect to the defense, who was tired and gassed. You saw guys getting injured, guys tired at the end of this ball game, and the stops that they were getting on 3rd downs early in the game and through the first 3 quarters, they weren't able to get those in the 4th quarter, and I think some of that did have to do with fatigue and the fact that the offense didn't sustain itself. So total, and then you had a bad punt by Nortman that gave Edelman a great return. It was a total team collapse at the end of this game in the 4th quarter. But give credit to the Patriots as well. This is what they do. They've been here more times than the Jags have, and so they knew, look, we're down, but we're not out. We've got time. We don't have to rush. We know we can come back. Let's take this one possession at a time. And even after the turnover on the outstanding play call on the double pass back to Lewis, even after the turnover of Miles Jack with the tremendous play to take it away, they still didn't panic. They still got the football back, and they went right down the field and scored a touchdown. Cut it to 3. John Niner says Jalen Ramsey guaranteed Super Bowl was dumb. It was, but it was young exuberance. That's all it was. It was a guy that was caught up in the moment. You know he's a trash talker, so you knew he was going to do that. And you kind of felt like he was going to eat his words. But in this day and age where guys say stuff off the cuff all the time nowadays, like how many times do we see guys guarantee things and it doesn't work anymore? It's not like when Joe Namath did it and they won and it was a big deal because guys didn't do that. Guys do it all the time now. I mean, there's really no penalty for saying something like that. People aren't going to kill you for it like they used to. And if you're right, then you're going to get all the praise. So there's really no downside to it, especially for a guy that runs his mouth all the time. So Ed says, like you said, the villains never die. I don't know about this situation. These villains eventually are going to die. When Brady hangs it up, and Belichick is no longer afforded the opportunity that few, if any, have in the league, which is having the best ever on the center. I want to see how this franchise holds up. But with those two still on the sidelines, these villains won't die. They're not going anywhere. John Niner says, TB12, love him or hate him, he's the best I've ever seen. He's the best ever, period. Period. You can love Montana. You can love Elway. You can love Marino. You can love anybody you want. But when it's all said and done, Tom Brady is the best ever. He didn't have a Jerry Rice to throw the football to. He's not going into the Hall of Fame with any other player, most likely. From this entire run that he's had, I don't think there's another player that he's going to go into the Hall of Fame with on the offensive side of the football. Not a running back, not a receiver. If Gronk stays healthy, and I don't see Gronk staying healthy long enough, I don't know. Maybe the amount of football he's played already warrants him to have a discussion about Hall of Fame, but I don't think he's a Hall of Fame player right now, and I don't think he's going to play long enough because he's always injured. He's a big guy. He's always injured, but other than Gronk, he played with Randy Moss for what, 2 years, 3 years max? I mean, come on. That doesn't really count. Didn't even win a Super Bowl with Moss there. So at the end of the day, I mean, what we've seen Tom Brady do with the talent, I mean, he's made Deion Branch into a Super Bowl MVP and helped him parlay that into some money. Same thing can be said about Givens, who went on to play with the Tennessee Titans and do little to next to nothing. He's helped guys get money elsewhere because of what he's done with these receivers. Okay? It's what Tom Brady has epitomized his entire career, greatness, and elevating the play of others around him. Kevin Falk and Shane Vereen, who parlayed his Patriots success into a deal with the Giants. Danny Woodhead. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, got to give Brady credit, man. TNA says, I never thought the Jags would win this game because they did not get enough pressure on Brady. They did not hit Brady as much as they should have. It's no surprise they lost. I feel the same way. I thought they would hit him more, especially with the way the game started, with them getting a sack early in the game. I said, yeah, they're going to be on your ass today, Tom. You're in trouble today, Tom. Tom says, no, I'm not. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm really, no, seriously. Other than my hand, and I'm going to deal with it, I'm good. And he was right. He was good. John Perez says, lesson number 1 for Jalen Ramsey. Don't ever trash talk to the New England Patriots. Like, dude, though, but the next time, he needs to keep his mouth shut and play the damn game. Like I said, that's his game. That's what he does. It didn't shock me that he said anything, and it didn't work out for him and his team. But like I said, you don't get penalized for that anymore because guys do it so often. It doesn't hurt you as much. TNA says, it's time for the Vikings defense to try their luck against Brady. Hashtag Skol. Well, they got to win the game first. We'll see what happens. KT, the Southern Gent, says, do you think the Jaguars go after Cousins in the offseason? They've said that they love Blake Bortles, and I don't think Bortles played that poorly in the playoffs. You can make a case that with this playoff run that he had and the way that he played, he's actually strengthened his case to get an opportunity to remain the guy in Jacksonville. That being said, if I'm Jacksonville and I got a shot at Kirk Cousins, you know they have the money. You know they got the resources. If I've got a shot at Kirk Cousins, I definitely throw my name in the hat and see what happens. But we'll see what they decide to do. They've been adamant that Blake Bortles is their guy, and I didn't see him do anything to dispel that in the playoffs. KT, the Southern Gent, says, is it just me, but are the two top 10 corners from Florida State? Who's the other one? Obviously Ramsey. Who's the other top 10 corner that's from Florida State that you're referencing? I know Patrick Peterson is from LSU. Stephon Gilmore, you could argue. Stephon Gilmore is a top 10 corner in this league. He's from South Carolina. AJ Boye is a top 10 corner. He's not from any major school, I don't think. So who's the other one? You gotta fill me in on that. Reed says, Lou, the Patriots are ruining football for me. Well, I haven't watched the playoffs. I'm so sick of them. Well, that's you watch because you want to see someone beat them. And that's the beauty in the villain, is because even if you hate the Patriots, you still watch. That's why villains are so polarizing and necessary. Okay, just like the Yankees in baseball, just like the Lakers in basketball, just like Duke in college basketball, you root for the team that's playing against the villain. You hate the villain so much that you'll tune in. The Warriors are turning into the villains of the NBA. You want them to lose so much because they win so much. The only team I've ever seen sustain winning and not have the hate brigade come their way is the San Antonio Spurs. And it's because they're human-like. They keep their mouth shut. They keep their head down, and they just play. The Patriots, to a certain degree, do the same thing, but there's an aura around them of cheating and of arrogance that people are turned off by with this Patriots organization. You don't like the way they conduct business the Patriot way. All of those things combined, it's a confluence of those things that make people sour on the Patriots. But in any event, the NFL loves it because for that exact reason you just mentioned, you tuned in because you hoped, you prayed that somebody would beat them. You knew the Titans weren't, but you thought the Jags got a shot, and so you watched. And even though you left disappointed, you still watched. And that's all the NFL can. And you're going to watch the Super Bowl, A, because you're a football fan, but B, because you want to see the Patriots lose. And so you're going to watch the Super Bowl as well. And that's why the Super Bowl, or the NFL wanted the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And they didn't do anything to put them there. The Patriots were the better team. But they didn't want the Jaguars to win. I can assure you of that. It would have been a great storyline, but it would not have attracted enough eyeballs. Because the villain, the big bad Patriots, are in the Super Bowl, more people are going to watch just because they want to see the Patriots lose. And that, to me, is the definition of success when you are winning so much that everyone hates you. And so, there you have it. KT, the Southern Gent, says Belichick is going out. No, he's not going anywhere after the season. I don't believe it one bit. Reese says, hey, man, I hope you feel better too, man. But that's what the Pats do. John Niner says, King Belichick, wow, what a coach. Indeed. Indeed. KT, the Southern Gent, says, imagine Brady falling off the cliff at the Super Bowl. Not happening. I've been waiting for Brady to show signs. I still haven't seen it. TNA says, Lou, I know this is not about this match, but why are the Titans giving Mariota bad coaches? Look, man, I can't explain what they're doing in Tennessee. We'll talk about that on another video. For sure. KT, the Southern Gent, says, did you say anything? Says Blake Bortles is going to be a backup next year. We'll see. I'm not sold that they aren't sold on Blake Bortles just yet. We'll see. John Perez says, just a question. When was the last time a Super Bowl guarantee from a team not named the Patriots fulfilled other than Joe Namath and the Jets? I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know. I do know this. Guys guaranteeing things, they happen so often now. And it's not always the Super Bowl. You know, it could be a playoff game. It could be a regular season game. I remember one time the Giants in that 2007 season, it wasn't as much a guarantee as it was that they said, look, we're going to hold the Patriots to, I think it was Justin Tuck that said they were going to win the game 17-10 or something like that. And Brady was like, oh, we're only going to score. Remember, that was the year they set the NFL record for most points scored. And Brady threw for the most touchdown passes in the season. And they were lighting up the league. And they were undefeated. He's like, oh, we're only going to score, 14 or 10 points or whatever the number was that Tuck threw out there. And I think the Patriots only ended up scoring 14 in that game and losing. So you get it in a variety of ways, but you don't see it as often anymore. But it doesn't matter. It is what it is. At the end of the day, guys are going to do it. If they talk trash, they're going to do it, and it's not going to hurt them as much. Craig Smith says, shed a tear watching Lambeau drill 50-yarders with ease, one game away from the Super Bowl. We cut him in camp. Meanwhile, we finished one game shy of the playoffs while cycling through 4 kickers. Hashtag Chargers. Exactly my point. I referenced that in the video, but I didn't know there were any Chargers fans watching. I didn't know if that was going to go over everybody else's head, but yeah, that's what I was referencing. Josh Lambeau was with you guys last year in the camp. This year gets cut right before the season starts. You sign the Chinese, Japanese kicker, whatever, and he probably misses a game winner and a game time field goal in week 1 and a game winner in week 2 versus the Dolphins, and so goes your season. Corey Fitterman says, gotta call Bill and Tom Run DMC down with the Kings. They down with the Kings. Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, essentially, that's what they do. They win, and I think that's a perfect place for us to stop, man. Let's get into this Vikings-Eagles game. I know you guys are already watching. I'm going to do the same and jump into this thing and see what's going on. But in any event, the Jaguars, valiant effort. And for three and about a third of a quarter, they had their clamp on this football game, 20-10. Unfortunately, you're dealing with Tom TBE and one of the greatest franchises we've ever seen in NFL history. And when you give the greatest quarterback, Tom TBE, as many chances as he got in the fourth quarter, what else do you expect to happen? The Jaguars were too conservative on offense. Bad special teams punt by Nortman late to give them a great head start on a touchdown that would ultimately end up as the game winner. And what can you say about this Jags defense? They gave it a hell of a run, even forced a turnover in the fourth quarter. But when it was all said and done, too many plays on the field in the fourth quarter. They dealt with some poor field position that they were put in, and they got some stops too. But they didn't do enough in the fourth quarter, and the Patriots did. Man, were they outstanding defensively and, more importantly, offensively. Patriots got it done, 24-20, 14 unanswered points in the fourth and deciding frame of this game to get the win, 24-20, to advance to Super Bowl 52. I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. We'll be right back here live at the conclusion of Vikings and the Eagles to decide who will meet the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 52. Will we, for the first time in NFL history, have a team playing a home Super Bowl game in the Vikings, or will the Eagles continue their Cinderella postseason with Nicholas Foles at the helm and meet this Patriots team? We will see. But in any event, I'm your man, Louie T. Signing off. I thank you for joining me. Come back and join me again as we wrap up the NFC version and side of things in the championship game. Put a bow on all of these festivities as we then prepare for Super Bowl 52. I'll see you then. Enjoy the game. You know where to find me at the conclusion of Eagles, Vikings. Come back here on the Louie T Network. I'll see you then. Have a good one. Hey, Joe, take us home.